comments from citizens to the TVA board at their listening session. A poor citizen's plea.
Good morning. How you doing? I represent the common people. I work at Myers, and I would like for you to consider, it sounds crazy, but I would like for you to consider a payment plan. So, to help people in this area not struggle so much to pay their electricity. And BG told me to come to you and ask you for a payment plan. And I would like to know something about if you could do surveys. Do you know what surveys are? Like to analyze how much energy people are using in this area and try to promote saving money. And it would look really good if you do this, because it would show that you're for the community and you're for saving money, and that would look really good for the community to know that you're for saving energy and saving money. So it's just a thought. If you have any questions, just let me know. They have my phone number and stuff like that. And see, what I want to do is like 20%, 80% down, and then 20% in 10 days. That's what I was planning to do. But I just want your opinion. I mean, you can actually charge people more, you know, if you want to, if the payment plan. So it's not like you're not going to make any money, but it is going to help your company to contribute to people's not struggling. So, thank you, and God bless you.
Good morning. I'm Amanda Garcia from the Southern Environmental Law Center. I'm here to ask the board to ensure that TVA does not change its solar policy without public input and a balancing of the three prongs of TVA's mission by the appropriate decision maker, this board. TVA management recently decided to drop large-scale solar and to fundamentally change the policy goals for mid-scale solar. These changes reduce TVA's solar program from 130 megawatts to 20. Before these changes, TVA's solar program reflected in part a policy to foster a local clean energy economy. In fact, a description of the Solar Solutions Initiative on TVA's website reads, SSI is a targeted incentive that aims to support the existing local solar industry while also serving as a recruitment tool for new industry to the region, retaining and adding investment and jobs. Now TVA management tells us that TVA is no longer interested in fostering local clean energy. The reason offered? Solar power isn't worth the price. I beg to differ as a member of the stakeholder group that just spent a year and a half working with TVA on the Distributed Generation Integrated Value Report. That report made clear that there was no consensus among stakeholders regarding the value of solar in the valley. It also made clear that factors like environmental and economic development benefits were not reflected in the avoided cost to TVA. Yet TVA management appears to have relied on that avoided cost for its misguided decision to crush the valley's homegrown solar industry. All around TVA, utilities are moving to take advantage of cheap solar before the federal investment tax credit expires. But management is taking TVA in the opposite direction, moving to actively constrain market growth and give its own customers, the local power companies, monopoly control over mid-scale projects. Any other utility would have to vet such drastic changes before a public body charged with protecting the public interest. You don't have to look far for an example. It's happening in Tennessee, in the tiny corner of the state not served by TVA. Their citizens are asking the state not to roll back incentives for solar. Meanwhile, TVA management is shutting down the public debate before it has even begun. As the board, you're charged with representing the public interest of the valley. SELC and others asked TVA management to put the changes on hold and follow its own rules for stakeholder participation and board guidance. TVA management refused, as reflected in the letters I provided to you. So I'm here to ask the board to ensure that its independent obligation to set policy for TVA is satisfied, and to further ensure that all three prongs of TVA's mission, environmental stewardship, economic development, as well as affordable electricity, are weighed in setting solar policy. The citizens of the valley deserve to have their voices heard. Please keep TVA's current solar programs in place until that happens. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Deanna Bowden. I live in Brentwood, Tennessee. I'm a member of the Middle Tennessee Electric Membership Corporation, and I've taken the day off and traveled here today because the decisions of this board and the course TVA sets for our future energy generation and transmission are vitally important to our health and security. I'm glad TVA is trying to cut air emissions, but too often the choice is made to just prolong the life of dirty 1950s era technology instead of investing in clean, renewable energy. As a result, billions are spent to improve the air quality around an old coal plant, such as Gallatin, only to find another expensive problem. For instance, hexavalent chromium from leaking coal ash storage showing up in area wells and the Cumberland River. That's my family's water source, by the way. Put these old coal-fired plants on retirement schedules and move quickly to scale up wind and solar. It's the right course to set. Your own Distributed Generation Integrated Value Report showed that the costs of air and water pollution are real costs we can avoid by investing in clean energy. The cost of decades of cleanup is real money, lots of real money. So set the right course. I strongly object to TVA's plans to severely cut back solar programs. I strongly object to spending more billions of new dollars on increasingly expensive old infrastructure like 60-year-old coal plants and 40-year nuclear plant building boondoggles. These choices are giving us asthma and heart disease and COPD and cancer and drought and floods. You have the power to set a new course. It's time to start on a better course. Thank you for your time and attention today.
My name is Brian Bickle. I began my career in solar in May of 2012 and began working with Lightwave Solar as their director of sales and marketing. At that time, solar was an emerging and growing field. Solar growth in the state was high, and TVA allowed as many projects to be built as the market wanted. And after all, TVA's board was appointed by the president, who often did and still does call for the expansion of renewable energy on the nation's power grid. Lightwave was on a positive growth trend, with annual sales exceeding 10 million. And I took on the responsibility of managing our team of 8 salespeople and had plans on growing our presence throughout the state of Tennessee at that time. Things looked pretty good in 2012. And then something happened. In the fourth quarter of that year, TVA began capping and restricting the number of small-scale solar projects that they would allow on their grid. The GPP program closed in October of 2012, shortly after it opened, and did not open again until January of the following year. In the 2 years since, we have endured a complete program shutdown in April of 2013, a literal hard stop imposed by TVA that prevented the acceptance of applications from rate-paying homeowners and small businesses who chose to invest their own money to build their solar projects. This hard stop caused Lightwave to close our offices in Johnson City and Memphis and sparked the resignations of 80% of our sales team. Our sales dropped from that $10 million number to just over $3.6 million the following year. 2014, we saw another reduction in program and incentives, and we now had half the staff. In 2015, the incentive dropped again, and we held tight this year with those 4 sales folks. Now we get word that TVA lowers the incentives again for 2016, and as of this week, the 2015 program is currently closed. So I have 4 salespeople that can't sign on any new projects until sometime next year when TVA says they will open the program again. All of the things that make solar work for consumers, solar contractors, and utilities alike are possible and are being achieved in other utility markets. And in the case of TVA, I believe you should be leading and setting an example for all utilities in the nation on how to claim the inherent financial and environmental benefits that go along with harvesting a totally free source of fuel. But it seems TVA hasn't figured out yet that number, and while they work to determine what solar energy is really worth, solar jobs are disappearing and the industry is in danger. Why is TVA curtailing and restricting small-scale solar progress in the Southeast when all signs around the world are signaling that solar's time has come? Prices for solar equipment installation are at an all-time low. Solar is widely considered to be a viable energy source and clearly has a role to play in moving our nation toward its goals of energy independence and a cleaner environment. Taxpayers have just 1 year left to claim the federal ITC, and the president, who appointed each of you, is calling for more solar, not less. I don't believe that your legacy on the board of TVA should be one in which you killed the solar industry here, and I challenge each and every one of you to use your influence and power, and the power of the one who appointed you, to stop these unnecessary curtailments and restrictions and allow a natural, market-driven approach to solar growth in Tennessee. Thank you.
More on the solar issue.
Good morning. My name is Carlos Meyer. I'm co-founder, president, and CEO of a solar company called Vis Solis. Vis Solis is Latin, stands for the power of the sun, and photovoltaic is all we do. Vis Solis is a developer and integrator of PV systems, including financing, engineering, procurement, construction, and operation. We only focus on commercial and utility scale projects, no residential projects. Vis Solis, our subsidiary, is established in Franklin, Tennessee since 2010. So we just had our 5-year anniversary. The first project we installed in September 2011 in Lincoln County, Tennessee. Was 4 large projects, 750 kilowatt each, in total 3 megawatt. Kind of became, at the time, market leader in Tennessee, not even knowing at the time. Vis Solis owns and operates 17 projects in the Tennessee Valley Authority service territory. That's in aggregate about 5 megawatt. Just to compare, TVA owns 16 projects with an aggregate of 384 kilowatt, if I'm informed correctly. What are the statutory mandates of TVA? It's energy, environment, and economic development. Imagine you're leading a company, an agency, charged with providing affordable energy, stewarding the environment, and supporting economic development and technology innovation. Now imagine that the agency could foster the development of 100% clean and renewable energy from emerging technologies, creating local jobs and attractive private investments in local communities, and cost the agency a fraction of annual expenses. Since 2007, and that's a quote that I took from public information on your website, TVA as a declared corporate strategy has consistently pursued the goals of increased energy efficiency, use of renewable energy, and implementation of demand response in its operation. It may have been true at the time for the use of renewable energy. That seems to be only true until fall 2011. In September 2011, it's basically the month when Vis Solis installed the first 3 megawatt utility scale project. That was kind of the 9/11 of the solar programs in the valley when TVA decided to downsize the unlimited GP Generation Partners program from 1 megawatt to 200 kilowatt, then down to 50, and so on and so forth. While the PV industry took off like a rocket in the last 4 years. Beginning 2011, the growth by TVA decreased significantly. For developers like the Solis, that's a disaster. Another quote from TVA: renewable energy in the form of wind, solar is contributing significant generation. So what does the significant mean? Can we agree upon 5%? TVA is generating about 37,000 megawatt. 5%, that's 1,850 megawatt. What is the naked truth? Solar might be 80 megawatt from the GP program, another 30 or 40 from the SSI program. So TVA, yeah, right, okay. So basically, my point being, I think you can do better. Look across the border, North Carolina, Georgia. I would like to encourage you to become a real leader and do significant solar in the state. Thank you.